Welcome, and welcome to Chip as well. I already said hi to you, but there we go. Starting to get a couple of people coming in now. Okay, so hello everybody, I am El Bristow. Welcome back to Elitopia Gaming. Welcome back to KSP Live. Last week we were continuing on our hard mode game, and we are going to continue our hard mode game today. The situation we got to last week, we completed our moon contract to land on the moon, just about. We just about did land on the moon, and we managed to send back some science from the moon. Now, the contract we have at the moment is, we have a contract here for visual surveys of the moon, and we need to get a crew report in flight below 9,000 metres at area C3H3. So let's have a quick look where that is on Mun. Oh, hang on, there's clearly one for a satellite as well. There we go, it's under there. So it's a tricky one to get to, unless we can come in. If we come in quite high, we can probably kind of swing round and get it quite low. So actually our target is going to be to come in to orbit of the moon up here somewhere, so that we don't use too much fuel angling our craft. Now the problem that we have is we have 3 pilots currently trapped on the moon, and we're not trapped on the moon, one's trapped on the moon and 2 are trapped near the moon, and we can't do EVAs, and they haven't got any fuel, so we're a bit kind of stuck there, and we can only use 5 Kerbals, and 3 of them are currently around the moon. So we have got a bit of an issue with how we are going to proceed today. Welcome, TR Master. Welcome back. In fact, I'm pretty sure you were here last week. So in order to get a crew report at under 9,000 metres, we're going to have to take a crew member, which is not going to be easy because we haven't got any pilots. We have Bill Kerman and Bob Kerman available for a mission, neither of them being pilots, so we won't be able to use any SAS, that's the word I was looking for. What level are your buildings at currently? They are all at the base level at the moment, and because we are playing in not ridiculously hard mode, we're playing in very hard mode, so the buildings are ridiculously expensive for us to upgrade. We need to get some of them upgraded pretty sharpish, because I mean we can't even EVA at the moment. We need to upgrade the astronaut complex for that. So hopefully that might be what we're able to do later today, so that we can at least EVA, so that we can send something to go and recover those Kerbals that are stranded around the moon at the moment. However, in order to do that, we're going to have to send a Kerbal on a mission to collect some science points now, without SAS. Let's have a look at what contracts we've got available. We have visual surveys of Kerbin. They can be quite tricky. EVA report on the surface. EVA report on the surface. So we haven't built any space. We haven't got the science tech for space planes yet, or for planes. So that could be pretty tricky. Place a satellite in an equatorial orbit of the moon. Now that's doable, and it's worth quite a bit of funds to us, and 45 science and 47 reputation. I reckon we could probably do that. We've then got science data from space around Kerbin, science data from space around the moon. Now they will have to be crewed, obviously, because we can't take science data unless we send a thermometer or something like that. We could do that, and transmit that back with a probe. In fact, oh no, we can only have 2 contracts, and we've still got that one running. And we lose 27,000 funds and 800 reputation if we cancel or fail that contract. I've not found the best way to level the crew yet. I've gone through normal career and have yet to get crew over level 3. It's about the achievements that you manage. It's about the different celestial bodies that you manage to get them to. Orbiting around Kerbin is worth science. orbiting the moon or landing on the moon is worth science, landing on June is worth more science, landing on each of the celestial bodies will get you science for each of your people. So the more celestial bodies you can orbit, land on, fly by, whatever, then the more experience they will get. That's how you get experience with this current system. I'd like to see them change that slightly so that you get experience for something specific to the career of that Kerbal, because collecting a large amount of science, using a large array of science implements or something like that would gain experience for a scientist, and an engineer would gain experience by repairing things. But that's not actually how the experience system works in KSP. So it's an interesting system, possibly not 100%. Possibly not 100% ideal, but take a crew report in flight below 9,000 meters. I wonder if we can do that with the guys that we've got there available at the moment. It might mean risking one of their lives. But then, we're no stranger to risking the lives of our Kerbals. Look, see, he's not actually that far from that. I wonder if we could actually get that far. I don't think these have got any fuel at all, these two, have they? We used up their fuel getting there. Let's just have a look how much fuel this has got. That is the Kerbin, so let's fly that. Once you get the Gravioli detector, each moon and Mimus biome landing gets you 700 and 900 science. So by the time you've landed at all on the moon and Mimus biomes, the tech tree is complete. Yes, unless you put it in hard mode so that you actually get less science from those. There is definitely not enough fuel in these for him to get there. He could probably roll there, but that would certainly take some doing. That's a long way to roll. So yeah, he's not going to be able to get there, sadly. We are going to have to... Hey there, Jelly. Welcome, welcome. We're going to have to send recovery craft for each of those Kerbals. So, what I think we're going to have a look at doing is position the satellite, because that's worth 81,000. Then we can do science data from space, because we'll have... In fact, we've got people in space around the moon. Let's just do that one, shall we? Because we don't actually need to do anything. We just have to go over here. Not the Kerbin though. Let's go for Herobrine 2. Just popping in for a little while I'm home. Well, there you go. Here we go. So Ribsy Kerman is in orbit around the moon. So if he takes a crew report, even though it's worth no science, we'll transmit that back, because he's got solar panels to replenish the power. And there we go. That's 54,000 funds, 2 reputation, and 203 reputation. That's quite a lot. Ah, it's Soviet Man. Welcome, welcome. You didn't miss much. We've just done one quick contract, which was science data from around the moon, which we didn't actually have to do anything for because we already had people around the moon. And we've been discussing what we are actually going to do. Position a satellite in an equatorial orbit of the moon. I think we can do that. And that's worth like 100,000 nearly to us. So that's we're going to take that. And we have 95 science points to spend. And we discussed this last week, what we were going to do with this. I've had a think about it, and I've had a bit of a play around. And I think that this is actually the way. Was it last time you did that awesome? It was indeed last time that I did that awesome landing. That was last week. The extremely high speed landing on the moon. Yeah, if we unlock this jet engine, we can do a very light craft which we can probably get to the moon. So I am going to do that. We don't have the probe body with SAS, but hopefully I can control it well enough to be able to counteract the movement and things. So there we go. We're going to have a probe. Let's pay for the ring battery, because that's keeping it nice and tidy. Fuel tanks, we can probably do it with one of those and one of those. So that will be the actual probe when it gets there. We'll use a couple of these. Let's go for 3. Because we won't really need a lot of power on this thing. We just need enough to keep it going. Well, there we go, that's better. Let's dig them in a little bit. There we go. While we're sending it... Oh, we haven't unlocked the thermometer yet. I forgot about that. Okay, well that's not the end of the world. Don't need any parachutes or anything. So what we're going to do, let's have a couple of these. Oh no, not that many. A couple. That would be 2. Like that. No mods. I can't live without Kerbal Engineer and Fusebox. Yeah, I kind of found myself getting a bit too dependent on Kerbal Engineer, so I decided to stop using it. In fact, let's... I'm pretty sure these engines are powerful enough to push these. Like so. I hate guessing at delta V. Well... I agree that using reaction well, yeah, that's a good idea. I agree that using Kerbal Engineer gives you, you know, an advantage in that you don't have to keep guessing. However, it's not native to the game, so I'm not a huge fan, unfortunately. I have played with it, obviously. I've played it with mods. I've done it on this channel, but I think for the purposes of this hard mode game, we can live without it. What am I doing? I want these. I need to pay for those. No. Trying to build spaceships with no data is like trying to brain surgery with boxing gloves on. Well, not quite, but yes, I get the idea. Right, now I have actually tested this. If any of you are part of the Facebook the Kerbal Space Program Facebook group, you will have seen. You may have seen the image that I posted up on there. With this guy on it. I have tested that this thing would actually go to the moon, and it does. Just oops. There we go. Right. There we go. Although I could actually just use a stability enhancer, couldn't I? Thinking about it, yeah. Oh no, I can't. No, I can't because I don't know. Oh no, I've got plenty of fuel though, haven't I? Yeah, go on. We'll just use stability enhancers on this one. Got to pay for them, of course. It's a shame that the stability enhancers count as parts. Because you leave them behind, don't you? But there you go. Never mind. So I've tested that this thing can get to the moon. This thing can most definitely get to the moon. So as long as we can get this thing in orbit, it's got solar panels, it's got power. We're going to need a... We'll put an antenna on it. Actually, we don't need the antenna because we aren't transmitting anything, but we'll put one on anyway, just because that's what you do. I'll tell you what, actually. Can I put it on? No, I won't put it the other way around. Let's put it there. It's not exactly heavy. You should get 100% recovery for the stability enhancers, in my opinion. Yeah, you should. I have tried sitting it on its tail. Unfortunately, this particular engine isn't particularly stable, and I've found that it kind of wobbles a bit. And because the probe doesn't have SAS, it does have a tendency to just fall over. So there's more than enough fuel in there for what I want to do. So let's give this thing a name. Where will we up to in the alphabet? Let's have a look. K. So an L. We need a craft beginning with L. Well, it's going to the moon. That would be a lunar tick. There we go. Let's save that. Let's get these right. So we're going to... hang on. Put those up there. We have that engine fire. They let go. Then later on, they fire. Then we let go of that engine. Then later on, we let. Then we can fire that engine. Then we can let go of those. There we go. I think that works. Lithobreaker. Well, it probably will be lithobraking when it's served its purpose. But let's hope that it doesn't come to that. Actually, I'm wondering if I should stick some fuel ducts on it, just because if I end up having to use this engine, I can then feed the fuel back in. I think I might do that. Oh, that wasn't right. And it only did one. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's. No. Okay. No, it's not going to let me do it, is it? Okay. So I'll have to do it. Oh, what? Arrgh. Impromptu pirate impression. I'll tell you what. Let's move those up very, very slightly. There we go. Pretty sure in real life the physics of this wouldn't actually work unless you had a massive pump attached to this, because all the fuel's going to burn out that way. But there you go. That's life. So this is effectively asparagus staging, just in case we need it. I don't think we are going to need it. So here we go. This is the lunatic, and it's unmanned, so this will count as a probe for our contract that we accepted, which is this one. And we're going to try... No, we're not going to be able to get the science. We're just going to try and get it there. So let's take it out to the launch pad and see if it works. Pretty sure it will. It's going to work. Okay, here we are. That's slightly higher off the ground than I left it in the vehicle assembly building, but there we go. I don't really fancy doing this at night time. Where is the moon? Oh, mind you, the moon's in a pretty good position, so we will be doing this at night time and just hope that we don't have any power issues. We don't have SAS, so we can't turn that on. Let's get the throttle up to full, and we... There we go. Fire that engine. Let that G up a little bit. And here we go. And let's just make sure that we stay vertical, because this thing doesn't seem to want to. Yes, I believe you're probably right, CT Bram. I believe that real-life asparagus staging is probably quite impossible. Did the stream go dead? Not that I'm aware of. I'm still here. Wow, it's really hard to control this thing. It's kind of wobbling around all over the place. I'm going to have to put fine controls on, I think, because it's going everywhere. I haven't died. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Chip. We're at 10,000, so let's start our turn. You can hear the engine starting to whistle. Starting to whistle. That's the wrong phrase completely. It's starting to die on us as it's running out of oxygen, but we are coming up at 17,000 meters and we're still accelerating. I'm now going to fire those engines. Still a fair bit of fuel in there, but there we go. Oh dear. That wasn't what I wanted at all. Ah, there we go. It just ran out of fuel. That was a close call. Hope we didn't damage the engine. No, the engine's still intact. Ah, no, stay still, stay still, stay still, stay still. Come back. Even with fine controls, this thing is very, very tough to control. I'm going to have to look at the map, so that I can see where we're going. Okay, we are coming up, getting into space. This cost about 10,000 funds, I think. Very, very cheap little craft for launching a probe. Haven't needed to use that center engine at all yet, which is good. Nice efficient burn right on the prograde marker. Coming up on 80,000. What should we do? 85? Let's cut that at 85. We'll drift up a little bit. How much fuel we've got left in here? Loads, absolutely loads. Let's drift ourselves up a bit to about there. We are in space, so let's come back here and burn. Come on, Periapsis, where are you? There it comes. Okay, we are in orbit. And we're almost in the right position to burn straight to the moon. So that was not bad at all. That launch. Not perfect, but nothing worth complaining about. So where do we want it? We want the moon. We'll be about here, I think we'll be burning. So let's speed ourselves up a little bit. Something like that. Oh look, there is the moon, so let's get ourselves burning now. I could actually activate that other engine just to make sure that we're burning quick enough. And ideally I want to be coming just above it. Is that what we're doing? There we go. That is almost exactly what I wanted. Just above the moon so that we come in at a slight angle. And we have still got loads of fuel left. 32 units in each of those and 45 in the centre. So this thing is definitely going to the moon. Let's speed things up. Okay, how did we do? How did we do? Obviously we're nowhere near this orbit at the moment, but if I burn that in, we might be able to pick up that 71,000 periapsis. That's not bad. Angle's not quite right for that, but if I do, we've got loads and loads of fuel, so I can get us back to this target orbit later. We need to get below 9,000 as we fly past that particular place. So let's get ourselves close to our periapsis, preferably without going past it. And get ourselves retrograde to circularise this orbit out. Get back. Whoa, okay, that was quicker than I expected. Pretty powerful, these engines. I'm tempted to try and adjust. Can't remember which way we need to go. I think it's this way, is it? Yeah. Try and adjust the angle slightly as we burn. Apoapsis should spin round and hopefully we'll be... Whoa, hang on, we're drifting. Hold on, let's not do that. Let's get ourselves back to our periapsis now, because I reckon that angle's not so bad. Hey there, Volcanics. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Okay, that's a bit too low, and we're not quite close enough to that. $8,000's good enough. That should just about be enough to skim any unexpected mountains that we might find there. So we need to drop this down slightly, and to do that we're going to have to do that about here. So let's come around here. Ooh. How are we doing for fuel? Should still have plenty. Yep. Come out the map. There we go. Right. Where are we on that orbit? Yeah, that's about the right location. Let's make sure we are burning in the right direction, which would not be that way. So it would be this way. No, it wouldn't. It would be the other way. Okay. Typical. Are we close enough? Are we close enough? $7,500. We might actually just come outside of that. Yeah, it's a... We might be just outside of 9,000 when we come back out, look. Well, there's always the next orbit, I suppose. How could I do that? The only way I can do that is by trying to move the periapsis around, which I would need to burn. If I burn away from the moon, if I burn up here, in theory that will move my apoapsis round here and move my periapsis around there. So let's... No, I'm doing everything the wrong way around today. However, that's not... That's going to crash us into the moon, isn't it? So, I need to do it kind of here. No, it's not working for me. Not working for me. No, at this rate we're landing, so... Radial will swivel there. Radial in will raise the orbit behind you and lower it in front. Burning radial out will raise the orbit in front. Yeah. I'm just trying to think what's going to be best for this. No. Tell you what, if I burn... Can I burn retro and then... I'm cutting it very fine, aren't I? Let's just see how close we get, shall we? 6,500. I don't think I've ever tried to graze the moon at 6.5 kilometers before. We need to be below 9,000. We're coming there. We're below 9,000 there. I I think we're going to be okay. As long as we don't actually hit the moon. If we hit the moon, we've got a problem. Clearly. I don't have a radar altitude, so I don't know exactly how high we are. So we got down to, okay, we got down to 6,600, so it looks like we're okay there. Let's just hope that we got that close enough. Pretty sure we did. Moon is mostly flat, yeah, but it does have lumps. Particularly if you, aha, there we go. Entering, there is a problem, of course. I'm supposed to take a crew report. I can't take a crew report thing with this, can I? What an idiot. Okay. Right. Well, that was a complete waste of time. And I am an idiot. So let's actually do the correct contract. It was a good practice run. Unfortunately, doing that manned will probably be quite a lot tougher. I want to... yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that from here, actually, am I? Let's raise our apoapsis up to 200 and something. Like so. Hey there, casual GSTN, welcome. And then we will, as we come around here, we'll try and tip that back down. Preferably without colliding. Oh yeah, we're not going to collide with that one, with the Herobrine 2. Let's see. I can never remember which of these is which. I do want to burn down. There we go. I can't believe these have still got fuel in them. Oh, that's gone too far. Whoa, 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 what happened there? I've gone into a spin and I'm losing control. I hate not having SAS. That was with fine controls. Goodness me. Right, let's carry on. Oh, I did that in slightly the wrong place, but never mind. Okay, so let's come up to the apoapsis then, and burn the periapsis up. Whoa, okay. 220 plays 221. Okay. Oh, and we are actually... Look at that. We're crossing the orbit right now, so... We are actually very close. Within a reasonable deviation. So what's our deviation? 227 plays 221. That's at 219 and 222. So 227. Right, so there is the actual that's the actual apoapsis and periapsis that we're aiming for, and we want to, let's think, is it this way? Yeah. Except that's going far too far, so maneuver nodes would be nice. It's going to take a few kind of correction burns on this one, I think. Oh, went too far. This is really tricky to get right. Right, that's as close as I'm going to get that, so I just need to bring the apoapsis down now. To 227. Oh. This orbit goes the other way. I didn't spot that. I wonder how much fuel it will take to completely flip this orbit the other way. We may have lost this craft. See, once they finish burning, I can ditch those engines. I'm going to try it. Interestingly, that actually means, yeah, I can ditch those and they'll actually just go straight for the moon. This thing's so hard to control. Well, we're back in orbit and travelling in the other direction. .227 is what we're aiming for. That's 227. How does that work? It's over there, so we need to rotate that around. No, that's not going to work. Okay. We did it. We only went and did it. Look at that. There we go. 81,000 funds, 45 science, 47 reputation. Not the most efficient way to do it. That I'll give you. Going via the incorrect contract and then going the wrong way around the moon, and well, there you go. We actually still managed it anyway. Now, this thing is pretty useless here, as is, and I don't like leaving lots of debris around, so I am actually just going to burn this thing so that it crashes. Now that we've done that. There we go. Because we can't gather any science with it, it doesn't really count for anything. But we did indeed manage to put that satellite in the very specific orbit and going in the right direction. Loads of fuel left, what a shame. Shame we can't really do more with it, but no, we're just going to have to crash it. Those engines are going to crash as well. Yeah. So there we go. That was a successful contract. That's put us in a fairly good position now. We have 570, nearly 571,000 funds and 50 science. The 50 science obviously isn't really going to go anywhere. We need 90 to unlock anything. We need... Come on, let me right click it. No, is it doing that weird thing where it appears somewhere else? Yep, it's over there. There we go. 700,000 funds to unlock EVAs, which we are going to need. So we are going to need another contract. Position a satellite in an equatorial orbit of Kerbin. Well, we've just put one around the moon, so I'm pretty sure we could do Kerbin. We can launch it for less than that, and we'd get that back. Visual surveys of the moon. Do you know if you get the Exmit science from moon requires a newly built ship, or could you park something in orbit and every time you get that contract you just reuse it? Yeah, you don't. You can just park it in orbit and yeah, just transmit each time. Works fine. Oh look. There's some extra, some easy extra points. Stack decoupler landed. Let's just do that. What were we calling our test craft? Pod test. We had pod test Charlie, so let's go new. And which decoupler was it? TR18A stack decoupler. Oh, okay. Easy money. So this is going to be pod test. Oops. Delta. Text? No. Test, please. Thank you very much. Let's just check that my naming is right. Oh, I did leave a space. So pod test delta. Save that. Launch that. Easy peasy one. Oh, it's the fish in a spaceship. Welcome back. Welcome back. Nice to have you with us. There we go. That was some easy funds, easy science, easy rep. Recover that vessel. Thank you, Bill. Oh no, I've done that one before. If you leave the monopropellant in, it doesn't fire you for miles. And you can still recover it like so. 51.5 science. And the radial decoupler, unfortunately that one's not free money, but because you can't recover the decoupler itself, but it is free science. So let's take the free science. Ditch that and add that. It's huge. And this will be epsilon launch. Catapult. Yes, it would catapult you. Oh dear, I think I broke my chair. My chair's very wobbly. Not a very good chair, this one. There we go. Whee! Bang. So yes, can't recover that, but we do get the science and the reputation from that. Recover the vessel. $63.5 science we have. Science data from space around the moon. Accept that. This is how you this is how you grind science in my goodness, that was a big orbit that it wanted me to create. Suborbital, right, so let's go to Herobrine 2 again. Fly. And we will transmit some science. Easy peasy free money. Crew report. Transmit. There we go. 59,000, 2 science, 187 reputation, and there goes a floating discard. What that was all about. Back to the Space Centre. Science from space around Kerbin will be easy, but we don't have anyone in space around Kerbin at the moment, I don't believe. 65.5 science. Look at that. Look at that orbit it wants me to do. Going the wrong way and in an orbit further than the moon. That's quite an orbit. Would our craft do that? I think it would, wouldn't it? The little satellite that we used, I think it would do that. We could possibly catapult off the moon as well. Could we do that? If we do a flyby, it would speed us up and fling us... No, it might fling us too far, actually. I reckon we could do that. What do you reckon, guys? It's a westerly takeoff. Oh no, that's Minmus. It's on the same plane. It's on an an equatorial plane. 1300 total delta V. Yeah, I think our craft's got that. Well, you saw how much fuel it had left. I think that's worth a shot. 1300? No, that doesn't sound right. 3,500 just to get into orbit, isn't it? 639. We need 700 to unlock that. So if we do... where's it gone? Oh, where's it gone? Equatorial, that'll be it, yeah. 12,000 metres. 12,000 kilometres, sorry. It's worth 81,000 science, but then we've also got science data from space that we can pick up after that. Yep, that's worth doing. Except, let's close that. And yeah, we're going to use the same craft. Don't even need to rename it. It's the Lunatic. And I think it can do it. Got that. Got that. This was all correct, wasn't it? So, Lunatic 2, this is. Save it, take it straight out to the launch pad. Easy peasy. Easy peasy squeezy lemons, Jill. Sorry, most of you probably won't get that reference. If you do, put something in the chat just to let me know that I'm not going completely crazy. Although I probably am going completely crazy. So, daytime launch this time. Doesn't really matter when we launch, although actually where we are is a very good place because our apoapsis is over there, so we can burn there to our apo. Oh no, we can't do that because we'll be going the other way actually, won't we? So we'll burn the other way to our peri. There we go, that's more like it. What does the SAT require? Some of the contracts require specific bits. Good point. Let me check. Doesn't say anything there. I've got power and I've got an antenna, so both of those should be fine. I think they're the only things it ever actually asks for, so I think we're going to be okay with that one. Yeah, we should check it though, shouldn't we? Let's go Space Center. Just make sure, because I didn't really read it. Don't want to waste it. Active position. Right. New unmanned probe. Unmanned probe that has power and an antenna. Yeah, it's just power and an antenna. So that's fine. Don't recover, we're going to fly. Okay, so up to full whack. And here we go. Let that get itself going. And I'm going to burn a little bit of the fuel off this time actually, because we ended up with a fair bit of fuel left at the end. There we go, we are away. And let's instantly put on fine controls. Now we're going to have to fly west this time, so it's a slightly less efficient launch. But it's not going to be that much less efficient. I'm very, very excited at the moment, waiting for the new release of KSP, the 1.0 release, especially since they have now announced that it's going to have resources, mineable resources, so we won't need the kethane or carbonite mods anymore. Although I'm sure that people will still continue to use those to add other resources. Right, I'm going to start gently turning now. They're still a little way from release, I think. It will be a little while before it is actually released. But they are starting to send out screenshots and things. A lot of the features are in place. They have already been done in the beta versions that they're using. So we're probably looking. I would say look at a month If it hasn't come out in a month, within a month, I would be quite surprised. Don't launch this way very often. I've still got that engine attached, but it's still got some thrust to it. We should be alright to dump it now, though. No. It's going to push us around a little bit, and then it's going to run out of fuel. There we go, there it goes. What did you miss? I was at the moon, was I? That was probably with the previous iteration of this. We successfully managed the contract to get a satellite in orbit around the moon. We're now doing a contract, this great big orange orbit here, which is the wrong way around the planet. And very, very high. But I think this thing has sufficient DV to actually get us there. This thing has a lot of delta V, so we're just coming up to actually getting an orbit. Interesting that you actually see the ascending and descending nodes on the orbit, even though we haven't actually unlocked that part of the Space Center yet, which is interesting. Yes, lots and lots. Doing the equivalent of like 3 missions, we managed to complete one. Yes, indeed. We wasted a lot of time doing that mission. I don't really need to worry about when I stop this burn, do I? I can just kind of keep burning. Just make sure that we're pointing prograde all the while, and let's go, yeah, wait until the apoapsis spins round a little bit. And then we'll cut it when it's kind of in line, which is about there. And then the other side, we'll just burn the periapsis all the way up. Again, probably not the most efficient way. Yeah, I realise that that's part of fine print, but I would have thought that the KSP guys would have edited that bit out, the nodes. If you want to make soup but you don't know how to use the stove, put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. Yes. What about if you don't know how to use the soupy atmosphere of Kerbin? Can you put that in the microwave? Okay, get ourselves pointing prograde. Probably should have burnt earlier than this already, but never mind. There we go, we are in orbit. Let's stop ourselves from spinning. Periapsis needs to be 12,114. It's going to be very tricky to get this exact, but hopefully the 5% tolerance thing will be okay for us. 12,114. Yeah, see, I went a little bit too far, didn't I? Stop spinning. go. We can correct that slight inclination difference later on, but for now let's head up to that apoapsis and we'll burn the periapsis up. Burn it up. When it comes out, burn your rocket a little more so you have an orbit and then put it in for another minute. Whoa! I went too far. Okay, let's go around again. Whew. Let's go round again. Oh dear, no, there's a song I shouldn't be singing live. Singing it dead is probably more acceptable. Right, let's burn, get the periapsis up. What do we need? 12, 4, 3, 8. Whoop. Yeah, okay, so need to correct that slightly. Oh. What happened there? Did I get it? Well, there you go. I was very inaccurate, but it was accurate enough. There we go. We got that contract. With rather a lot of fuel left. 81,000 funds, 11 science, and 30 reputation for that. And, well, there we go. We're now orbiting the opposite way around the moon. So it would be quite easy for us to ditch this at some point because we can just fly it into the moon. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. And we will head back to the Space Centre. .76 science with intolerance means in space. Well, yeah, I mean it's a 5% tolerance, which obviously when you're dealing with, 12,000 kilometres, 5% of 12,000 kilometres is probably quite a lot. So yeah, we were kind of close. But there you go. So science data from space around Kerbin. We are in space around Kerbin, so that's. But I can't take any science from there because it's a probe. Idiot. I'm being really dumb today. Just 11. Right, so we're going to have to launch something. We're going to have to launch something to actually have a man in orbit, but I don't want to waste. I shouldn't have accepted that, should I? Mind you, we don't have to be in orbit, do we? We just have to launch something into space. And that's easy enough to do. In fact, we could probably do that with a recoverable craft as well. Let's do that. See if I stick some parachutes on this. In fact, I don't need anything like this much, really, but a couple of parachutes. I mean, that's probably enough anyway, isn't it? Just like that. Just like that. Let's be absolutely sure, and we'll stick a couple more on. Just in case, because we're going to have quite a lot of fuel left in this thing if I don't do anything. In fact, they're probably good enough on their own, aren't they? If I take that off... they're probably strong enough, aren't they? Okay, so we can't call this the lunatic, so this is going to have to be the something beginning with M. This is going to be the Munchkin. Save that. Still can't get science data, can I? Hang on, let's put something sciencey on it. That's probably going to kill the delta V, actually, isn't it? Launching from inside the ground is going to kill the delta V for sure. What does that weigh? 0.2 tons. I'll tell you what, let's take those off so that this thing launches from the ground like so. And I'm pretty sure we can get this thing into space. And we'll be able to recover it because we've got 1 million parachutes. Ooh. Creaky chair. Okay, so let's see. I'm assuming this thing will be able to lift sufficiently. If it can't, we've got 3 engines running on this thing. Yeah, should be fine. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that message until after I'd taken this out to the launch pad, sorry. So, let's see if we can get this thing into space. Yep, it's got plenty of force to be able to take us up. Just going to burn straight up. We'll have fine controls on. Obviously, once 1.0 comes out and they add re-entry heat and the new atmospheric model, we won't be able to do it quite like this because we won't be able to recover it because it will probably burn up on re-entry. But that is another challenge for the future. Let's just 7,000, 8,000. Okay, we're using fuel quite quickly. This is not a good thing. So maybe we did need that air-breathing engine. They are indeed adding some form of ferrum aerospace. They are modifying their own aerodynamic calculations to change the lift and drag that are calculated at the moment. And they're going to look at the possibility of allowing for parts to shield other parts as far as drag is concerned. I don't know whether they actually implemented that or not. But yes, they're adding new atmospheric model and they are adding re-entry heat. Indeed, not to die while re-entering is going to be one of those challenges. Are we? Oh yeah, we're in space. Look at that. Cut the engines so we can use those to slow us down if we need to. Here we go. Stop tipping over. Let's get ourselves into space. We'll take that materials bay observation. Observe. Boink. Only worth 4.9 science, but better than a slap in the face with a fish in a spaceship. Yes, they do just sum up the drag of the whole craft, which obviously is not a very accurate drag model, and the lift model was a bit silly as well. So, yeah, I'm quite I'm quite interested to see how that's all going to pan out. Any re-entry heat on this? There we go. Not a lot though. Parachutes out, all 4 of them. They will pop. Oh, bear with me 1 second. Oops, should have slowed that down. My 6-year-old just brought me something to eat. 4.7 metres a second, okay, well, no worries about that. These can take up to 7 metres a second of impact, so there we go. No problem. Recover that vessel, and that's that contract complete. And I'm going to take a bite of this that I've just been given. Okay, so we've got 5.1 science from the actual experiment we did. Recovered the parts. And we got 30,000, 1 science, 99 reputation. So 82 science. We now do have enough science, enough funds to unlock EVA. Or we can unlock more contracts, or the ability to have more contracts. Not bothered about that one for now. Certainly can't afford that one. Or that one. Could afford that, so we can do more than 18 tons. I think EVA is going to be most important, because we need to do some Kerbal recoverization. We still need to do that visual survey, don't we? What we probably need to do is send another iteration of the lunatic with a crew pod, obviously without any monopropellant in it. Now that's going to be heavier, so it's going to be harder to get there. So we'll use more fuel, but we did have ample fuel, didn't we? So yeah, see, and we've got a rescue from orbit available as well. They are very, very tricky though without the map upgrade. Very, very tough. Test LFB KR1 times 1x2. What's that? That's worth a lot of money. LFB KR1x2 while orbiting Kerbin at 91 to 101,000 metres. What's the LFB KR1x2? Because that will give us a million fun. It will give us 200,000 just for accepting the thing. 65 science, 400. I've got to take that. I've got to take it. LFB KR1x2. Let's just hope that we can actually launch that thing. Oh. What's the dry mass of that? Oh, you wanted to see the mass of that, didn't you? Total mass 6.4 tons. There you go. That's that. That will get you into space. Why doesn't it show you the dry mass anymore? It's 42 tonnes as is. We have to activate via staging, don't we? Which ideally means we need to pull it into orbit. If we send 3 of them... No, they're too heavy, aren't they? In fact, just that thing on its own is going to be too heavy. Let's have a look. If we go... We're up to M, so this is going to be N. It's 42 tonnes on its own. You need to activate it through staging. Oh yeah, you can rearrange the staging and everything, so I can do that. But we need to actually get it there, and that's not easy when you've got an 18-ton weight limit. Does it have enough delta V? See, it should do, shouldn't it? It should have enough delta V just to push a Stay Putnik into space. If I put... here we go, let's put a reaction wheel on top of it. This is going to look silly. Put a battery on that. And then a Stay Putnik on top of that. And a couple of solar panels. I know this thing's got the thrust and the delta V to put itself into orbit, but will it do it with a very limited amount of fuel? 16.5. Still 16.5 somehow. 19.7. So it has to be at that point. No, that's 18.3. Hang on. There we go. That's better. 16.5. I don't know why I'm trying to zoom into the UI. Is there anything else we'd need to do with that? We can make it recoverable. Let's see how high it gets. It's got to be an N. We need to come up with a name that starts with N. So this is going to be the come on guys, come up with a name beginning with M. N. N for Norman, and don't call it Norman. I'm not having it called Norman. We could have it called Norman. Come on, there's enough of you in the Twitch chat to come up with a decent name. Just waiting for the lag to catch up. Twitch lag. I have considered switching to Hitbox because of the chat lag. But the response I got was that I shouldn't really change to Hitbox. People seem to prefer Twitch, so there you go. Right, we Nametron Nightbot X Nightbot Nightbot X1. We could call it Nightbot. It is a probe. It is a bot, effectively. Yeah, let's go with that. In fact, Let's call it Nightbot. Should have called the previous one Moobot. Okay, so it's got engines, it's got fuel, it's got parachutes, solar panels, battery, reaction wheels. I don't know if this amount of fuel is going to be sufficient. Let's not have it pop the parachutes when we launch. And let's take it out, see how high it gets. Let's see how far we can get this thing. Otherwise, we've got issues. Because there's no way that we're going to make it any lighter. And we've just accepted that contract, and I'm guessing the penalty is going to be absolutely ridiculous. We don't have any... We're not going to need full throttle, are we? Let's go for throttle right down there somewhere. Right, here we go. Whoa! Okay, let's keep the thrust right the way down. Keep an eye on the fuel. As long as we keep above 1g of acceleration, we're okay. Which we are. And that will improve more and more. This is so quiet because of these engines. They're ridiculously powerful and we're on like no thrust. Getting through fuel quickly though. Yeah, this isn't going to be enough. No, going to run out of fuel. Apo's nowhere near high enough. Okay, so that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Let's just make sure we can actually recover this so we haven't really lost any funds. Don't land on the launch pad. No, good. We're going to be okay. Yeah, barely gets out of the soup. So, oh dear. Okay, we're going to have to use the engines to slow it down because I don't know what the impact tolerance is on this. There's a shadow, there it is. There we go. Stuck the landing as well. So, recover that. Okay, so, because this has got such a massive reward at the end of it, we're at 1 million. We've got 1 million funds. So, we could upgrade the launch pad, then launch it, and then with the other 1 million, we can upgrade the astronaut complex. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So that's 1.4 million on its own, and we can't do that. So now we can build up to 140 tons. I think that's right, isn't it? 140 tons, yeah. So we can put this fuel right the way up. That takes us to 47 tons. And we can just call this the Nightbot 2 because we haven't changed any of the parts, we've just put more fuel in it. And then we can launch that. We need to get it into a very specific margin of orbit height, orbit altitude. But that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So, thrust down again like we did before. And here we go. Yeah, much more controlled launch this time. And we have masses of extra fuel. just making sure that our thrust, our acceleration G-force stays above 1. I like it at about 1.5 Gs. Still using the fuel very quickly. Obviously we're using it quicker this time because we are heavier, so we're burning harder. But we don't have SAS, we're in a probe. I would love to use SAS right now, but we haven't unlocked that probe yet. Okay, coming up on 10,000, so we can start our turn. And we can start reducing our thrust because our G-force is going to skyrocket as we get into the thinner parts of the atmosphere. Check on our apoapsis. Yep, that's going nicely. Whoops. We can't. We don't have an SAS module. We can't turn SAS on at all. We haven't unlocked the SAS module in the tech tree yet. It doesn't have an SAS module built in. Okay, what do we need our altitude to be for this? Between 91 and 101, so we can do that no problem. Let's take that to about 95. There we go, 96 then. And let's speed up time so we get up there. Plenty of thrust to actually get this thing into orbit. Oh, controls are nice this time. Oh man. We run out of fuel, I don't believe it. We run out of fuel. We didn't have quite enough fuel. Poop. Okay. Plan G. Let's get that retrograde. Okay, so we're probably going to need 2 of these engines. We could go with 3 just to be safe. I don't know if I'm going to be able to recover this thing because it's going to be too heavy. And we're going to be landing on the water as well. That's going to be a pain. So we're probably not going to get the recovery on this one. Plenty of electric charge. It's not making the noise of the parachutes. I wonder why. 8.9. So it's going to be about 8.5 by the time we actually hit. I don't think that's got the impact tolerance. Let's see. Oh, it has. Look at that, and it just kind of sits there like an iceberg. Excellent. Okay, so we can recover that. Why not a tad more fuel? I can't fit any more fuel in it. Oh, I see. You mean just put another fuel tank on top? Yeah, we could do that. 11,000 recovered, so we wasted quite a bit in fuel there. It cost us 20,000, so we wasted 9,000 funds in fuel, but never mind. We haven't got any of the wide fuel tanks yet. This thing clearly has the power to do what we want to do. So what would we want? One of them? Would that be enough? It was very close, wasn't it? But then it will burn through that in no time at all. So maybe we should take one of them. What a ridiculous looking craft. There we go. So we can't call this Nightbot now because we've changed this. So getting through letters of the alphabet quickly here. We need an O. Let's call this Orbibot. Orbibot. There we go. Save that. Let's add some extra parachutes on it. Because we've added a bit of extra. We don't need that many extra though, do we? There we go, 2 more parachutes. Just so that we know it will be recoverable. That should be okay to get us into orbit, I think. So let's give it a try. I apologise for my creaky chair. My creaky broken chair. Yeah, adding more chutes so that it's recoverable, because I've just added some more weight. 50% thrust should be sufficient. Okay. Well, here we go. Yep, 50% thrust is more than sufficient. Bring that down a bit. There we go. Let's watch how that fuel goes. Flying nice and straight this time. That's without SAS, so that's quite impressive. It's a third of our fuel used already though, look at it. It's just drinking it up. That's empty and we're working our way through that one. Surprising, really. Starting to turn all by itself. Bring the thrust down. We're at 10,000 now, so let's start the turn. See if we can do this turn a bit more efficiently this time. I'm going through letters of the alphabet with my craft, so I'm afraid Fishbot would have had to have been a while ago because we're up to O. So I can do it with a PH though if you want. Keep this burn efficient. That's 72. What did we need? Something like 90. We said 90 something, didn't we? 91.4. So let's stop it at 91.4 this time. There we go. 91.7. That is, of course, assuming that I can call it fishbot, providing it is a bot. If it ends up being a manned launch, then that's a whole different kettle of fish. Okay, coming up to Apo. Oh, okay, gone past Apo. Come on. That's an orbit with three units of fuel left. Now, let's see. How am I going to do this? I need to somehow reactivate it via staging. So we need another stage, we need to shut down the engine, and we need to move that into the next stage. I don't know if that's going to work. I don't particularly want to fire the parachutes either. 91.4, so we need to go round until we're coming up over 91. Here it comes. I can't just do... Oh, I can do run test. I wonder if it will let me do that. .4. Will it let me do that? It did! It let me do that! 925,000 funds, science, and 427 reputation. Just for sticking that thing in orbit. So, let's get this to the apoapsis and see if we can actually bring it back with the tiny little bit of fuel that's left. Of course, we need to actually activate the engine. Oh, come on. Well, there's the end of the fuel. Did we do it? 59. It'll come. It'll do. It'll take a while, but it's going to come home. There you go, just entering the atmosphere. Let's see how the Apo moves. It will deorbit, yeah. I'm just wondering how long it will take to deorbit. Whether it will go around again. No, it shouldn't do. Not for 160. 160k Apo. Should be okay. I don't know though. It's coming very slowly. You know, thick. The atmosphere doesn't get thick anywhere near this high, does it? No. No. Okay, so I reckon we're going for another circuit. I'll tell you what, we can come back to that. We can do that another time because that's just boring to watch. So let's go back to the... Oh, I can't go to the Space Centre while it's like that because it will abort it. Okay. Come on then. Come back outside of 70,000 and we'll take you round the other side. This is the one bit I don't like about KSP, and that is having to wait to deorbit something that clearly is going to deorbit. I would quite like it if they could add some kind of stage recovery, like the stage recovery mod. So that you can actually just leave it unattended and it will recover it. Okay, speeding up. We will go outside of 120,000, so that's okay. That's down at 59 now. Oh, will it let me go to the... It will. Let me go to Space Center now because we're not in the atmosphere. Good. So we can just leave that there for now, and that will eventually... We can deorbit that another time. And look at this, 1.3 million funds, nearly 1.4 million funds, and 147.7 science. We certainly cannot afford to upgrade that, because that's going to be 5 million funds. However, we can upgrade the astronaut complex, so we can hire more astronauts and access EVA. We can have 12 Kerbals, perform EVAs and place flags. What else could we upgrade with these funds? Mission control we could, or we could upgrade... What is going on with this UI? It's not letting me click things. There we go. Oh no, 1.4 million to upgrade the tracking station, so we can't do that. Don't really want to upgrade the administration building. Can't afford to upgrade any of those. So we need to upgrade the astronaut complex anyway. So let's zoom in as we do it, shall we? Here is the astronaut building. And here we go. Doink! So it gets a road and some extra lights at this tier. So that is facility level 2. 4.3 million funds to upgrade it to the next level. But we still have 666,000 funds. We could go for that one to unlock more contracts. I think that's probably a wise use of our funds at this point. We can't afford anything else. No, so let's do that. We'll upgrade that, which means we can... I should have zoomed in on that one as well, shouldn't I? Sorry. There we go. It adds this little satellite thingy next to the mission control. So there we go. 2 buildings upgraded. 3 if you count the launch pad. So 3 buildings upgraded in one stream, in one live stream. That contract really has got us going. So now we can accept more contracts at the same time. We still can't do flight planning because we need to upgrade that to do that. But hopefully with more contracts we'll be able to do that. We can do 12 Kerbals and we can do EVAs. We have 147 science points so that we can upgrade something, so that we can unlock something here. We can unlock the thermometer, which would probably be a good thing. Don't necessarily need those at this point. Don't really need them either. Could go for that. So we've got the probe with an SAS thingy on it, or the thermometer, or the gear bay. What do we think, guys? Do we want the probe with SAS and the inline stabilizer and the RCS stuff, the first stage of the RCS stuff? Do we want that? Or do we want the thermometer and the processing lab? Bearing in mind, we've got most of the science already from around Kerbin. It would only be the thermometer. The thermometer, I suppose, would be useful for those, gather science from the moon or gather science from Minmus, from in orbit around Minmus, and we could send a probe to do that so that we don't need to send crew. But then we can use more Kerbals now, so we've got the crew to be able to do that. What do we think, guys? What do we want to unlock? I mean, if you prefer to unlock one of the other ones, please feel free to suggest one. I mean, we could unlock the small gear bay so that we can start building small planes. We've got the cockpit, we've got the wings, we've got the engine now. Oops, and the air intakes, and all these wing attachments and things, and the tail fin and all that kind of thing. We've unlocked all those already, so the wheel would mean that we can start actually using planes, or we unlock the thermometer for science, or we unlock the SAS for probes, and the other cockpit and the RCS stuff. Over to you. What do you think? Do you have the strategy which converts a few funds to science? I currently have the strategy which converts reputation to funds, because we were very short on funds. Now we're not particularly short on funds now, so we could look at science is easy to get, money is hard to get. Hi, Make One B, welcome. I recognise you. I recognise you from the KSP TV stream. We could see, this doesn't really give us a lot. The 25 reputation for 7.5 funds doesn't really give you a lot of extra funds. We could use the reputation for science instead. Ideally, it would be nice to unlock that, but we haven't got the science to be able to do that. 5% science for 8.1 funds. We can only have one strategy still at the moment because we haven't unlocked this. We haven't upgraded this building yet. So see, even though it doesn't really give us a lot, I think this is probably the best one for now because the funds are. So we don't really need the funds, do we? I think maybe we'll switch to reputation for science, because we can't afford. We can't afford that one for the science, and we can't afford. Why can't we afford that? Takes 5% funds, and we don't want that anyway. Yeah, we don't want the extra reputation. That would save us some funds, but they're not really much good. So I think reputation for science is probably the best way to go to squeeze a few extra science out of it. I mean, we've got more than enough reputation at the moment. That's one strange thing. There's no way to see what your current reputation is. I don't actually know what our reputation is. Is there some way that I don't know about? Oops, I was just in there. How do you find out what your current reputation is? Because that's really not much of an indication. I've no idea what my reputation is. If anyone can tell me that, please do let me know. But yeah, I'm definitely going to cancel this because that's not really reaping us anything. It was just giving us very, very slight boost to our funds. So I think this one is probably a better way to go. We can still use the 25% commitment. Cost us 438 reputation. Now, I think we picked that up on the last mission. You can see when you recover a craft, yeah. That's true. I'll tell you what, let's find out what we've actually got by sending some kind of test pod. Let's send out test pod test Delta with Bob, and we'll just recover it, and hopefully it will tell us what our reputation is. Thank you for that suggestion there, Make One B. Make something, just put it on the pad. Exactly. Recover the vessel. And we get... Come on. Come on. There we go. Right. So we've got our funds back. We have... Really? 579 reputation. Total reputation, 579. And yet... The last contract that we completed gave us 569. That doesn't make any sense. That's 569, 4, 4, 4, 4, 91, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 192, 10, 87, 59, 22. Anyone adding these up, by the way? 270, 250. There's no way that we've only got 500 odd reputation. Do the outsourced R&D. Yeah, I mean, that does give you a huge amount of science, but we can only spend 100 science at the moment. Did I have the strategy running? I did have the strategy running, but I had... What was I running? That one. But that only takes 5%. Oh, 25%, isn't it? Takes 25% of your reputation. Okay, yeah, that kind of does make sense. So the outsourced R&D gives us more science. It does give us considerably more science. And it's probably, at this stage, it's relatively cheap. What would it be for a 25% commitment? Yeah, but we don't want to do 25% commitment on that one. Could do 10% instead of 5. Doesn't really make a lot of difference though, so I think we'd stick with 5. 280, that's a big reputation hit in that case. Outsourced R&D, it is OP. I understand that it is OP. They should increase this, shouldn't they? They should make that like 70. See, what I don't like about outsourced R&D is that there, 35, doesn't really change very much based on your commitment level. I mean, by the time you get up to 100%, yeah, fair enough. But at the lower levels, it doesn't really change very much. What I think it should do is, for this one, at 5% it should be at like 60. And then at 25 or 50 come down to the 30 odd level. And then drop right down to, you know, to 20 or something for 100%. That makes more sense. I think there is a mod that does something like that, isn't there? But there you go. Anyway, we're going to stick with 5%. We'll do the outsourced R&D to boost our science intake, and then maybe later we can swap to one that uses that science up, or I don't know. But it would be too much of a reputation hit at this point, and the funds, you know, we seem to be doing okay for funds at the moment, so let's do that. There we go. So we still have 300,000 funds. We can now take on up to 7 contracts, and we only have 1, which is that visual survey one. We've only got 9 years left to do it. I think we might be all right with that. Mainsail, rescue, position satellite. Oh look, test a liquid fuel engine landed. Let's do the landed at, because they're always good ones. Oh. What engine was it? Oh, that one. Okay. There we go. We already did. We did Epsilon, didn't we? Yeah. What's the Greek letter F? Lambda, isn't it? Found a nice mod that gives funds from transmitted recovered science. Much better to build decent space program with funds and science. Interesting.